Dr. Mark Adickes, he's the Harvard-educated orthopedic surgeon. He's smarter than you. Former offensive lineman. In fact, won a Super Bowl with the team formerly known as the Redskins. Doc, good to talk to you again. We gave you our theory, or at least Paul had a theory of the step-back jumper. Would that have anything to do with the proliferation of Achilles tears? And then we'll get to your theory.
Well, I mean, the step back is not that much force, right? I mean, you've seen running backs tear as they go to step back to accelerate forward, but I mean, you also see Achilles tears where guys are going to cut. And so, do I think the step back is more force than someone running full speed and going to cut and push off the leg? Nah, I mean, I really don't think so. I don't think it's just because guys are doing more step backs that you're going to see more Achilles tears. The other thing is, it used to be that you didn't even worry about an Achilles tear in an athlete that wasn't around or beyond 30 years of age. And now you're seeing these 22, 25-year-olds get hurt. It really is crazy.
Okay, so what's your theory?
So my theory is twofold. One, I think that athletes now are a little bigger, a little stronger, a little faster, a little more explosive. The other one is that it used to be when you weren't playing sports, you were still active. Do you know what I mean? When you weren't playing your particular sport, you still were running around and you were on your feet all day long. Now I think that most recreation is sedentary, whether it's cable TV, whether it's streaming, whether it's video games. I mean, I just think that people are more sedentary when they're not doing their sport. And so the combination of having bigger, stronger, more explosive athletes combined with someone that isn't conditioning their muscles and tendons and all the time is having a bad effect.
How can it be prevented?
I mean, a good question. I mean, maybe throwing away smartphones and having people walk around and be active more during the day. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen necessarily. But I mean, there's got to be better training techniques. There's got to be better training techniques to strengthen that musculotendinous and that tendinous bony junction, because we definitely are seeing more Achilles, but I think we're even seeing more serious quad, groin, hamstring. I mean, we're seeing more muscle injuries than we used to.
It feels like, we've mastered hip replacement. Tommy John feels like we've kind of mastered that. Shoulders are still, the jury's out on shoulders. And the Achilles, it feels like it was 12 months. Now it feels like it's coming back to 8 months, 9 months. What has changed with that surgery?
Well, I mean, they are doing them more minimally invasively, which obviously eliminates the problem with wound healing. But it also, by creating less trauma, I think it allows the body to heal a little bit more naturally. Terrell Suggs, the outside linebacker pass rush specialist for Baltimore many years ago. I mean, I think he's kind of the record. He returned to sport 6 months after one of his Achilles. He actually tore both of his Achilles. Wow. Over the course of his career, but he was over 30 when he did that. But I do think it's possible now, or even more likely, more common to see guys coming back 8-9 months, which still eats significantly into Tyrese Halliburton's season next year.
Yeah, and Jason Tatum as well.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Two huge stars.
Fritzy got hurt playing pickleball. He wasn't wearing his pickleball shoes, and he has plantar.
Didn't even know there was such a thing.
Yeah, he has plantar fasciitis.
Oh my! All right, so plantar fasciitis. One, you want to stretch. So there's a great yoga stretch called the downward dog, because you want to get that stretched out. Two, get like a Coke bottle, 20-ounce bottle, fill it with water, freeze it solid, and roll that on the sole of your foot to sort of massage and ice the plantar fascia. Three, when you sleep, your toes point. So every morning when you get up, you re-tear the plantar fascia as it tries to heal overnight, right? So they have these night splints that hold your feet at 90-degree angles. You can buy them on, online, on Amazon, obviously. So night splints, the massage, ice massage. the stretch. And then the last thing is you can buy a harder insert, a carbon fiber insert to go into the shoe, which sometimes can help protect your plantar fascia. Any sort of an insert like one of those Spenco gel heel cups can help too. But that's kind of what I recommend.
Why didn't my microfracture surgery work on my knee?
It's imperfect, right? What happens is you poke holes in the bone, and the idea was that bone marrow would come out and your stem cells would make new cartilage that was as good as what was there originally. As it turns out, the cartilage that grows in that gap is more fibrocartilage. It doesn't wear as well. It doesn't protect the bone as well. And so it wears out more quickly and you feel the symptoms again.
What role is stem cell going to play in injuries?
I mean, it's helpful. It's helpful, particularly the younger you are. Obviously, the more active your stem cells are, and the more they're gonna play a role. I think at some point we're gonna need to have gene therapy combined with stem cells, so that you have something that is telling the stem cells what to do. In other words, I don't think it's gonna fix a knee that needs microfracture. It's not gonna fix arthritis unless you intervene way earlier. But I think it's going to be super helpful, and it already is being helpful for muscle injuries and things that have a better chance to heal.
What's the one question you get at a party when you go to? You know you're going to get this question.
It's different. So I have the guy who just injured his plantar fascia playing pickleball, and I have the guy that injured his shoulder playing tennis, and I have a guy that was doing jujitsu who injured his hip. I mean, it's incredible the number of guys that are my age that are doing jujitsu for the first time. It sounds like a really bad idea to me, but.
Do they take their shirts off or pants off that they want to show you an injury?
Thankfully, no.
Oh.
I'm avoiding that.
Good to talk to you again, Doc. Thanks for joining us.
Sam.
That's Dr. Mark Adickes. He is a Harvard-educated orthopedic surgeon. And he was also on DirecTV, the Fantasy Zone. He was their doctor for 9 years and played in the NFL. Actually won a Super Bowl. Yeah, you start to look at this. And I believe in stem cell. I've mentioned this before that I went to stem cell. I have an autoimmune, and I went to Panama for stem cell. And it's different because they use umbilical cords. They work with mothers during the entire pregnancy. And when the baby is born, they take the umbilical cord, and then they take stem cells from that. And then I got 50,000 stem cells put into my arm in an IV each day for 5 days when I went to Panama. And it took probably 5 months before I felt anything. And then I started to feel better because I'd gone through a lot of different things, as you know, we've documented. But I think it's the future. Now, they did shoot stem cells into my shoulder because they thought maybe that would prevent surgery. It did not. But they said, you can try it. And, tried it, didn't work. I was there when there was a guy who was being treated for ED. He was getting stem cells shot into his ED. And it worked. It worked. His wife confirmed to me as where, when you're there and you're like, well, what are you here for? And I go, well, I got an autoimmune, but they're going to shoot my shoulder and see if blah, blah, blah. I said, what are you here for? And he goes, ED. So it was a guy who was from Ohio, Lima, Ohio. And I kept calling him Ed the whole time when I saw him.
That's good. That's good, Bit.
I said, hey, Ed, how are you? And he appreciated that. I go in and get my shoulder. They did 4 shots into my shoulder. I could have cried. I mean, I almost cried. It hurt so bad. And I went out. I'm kind of embarrassed that, it took me to my knees. And I felt like I'm such a wimp. This guy's getting 4 shots into his, and I'm there, and I feel terrible that I'm almost to tears. And then he comes out, and I said, how'd it go? And he said, I went okay. The doctor comes out, and I said, man, I'm sorry, doc. It almost brought me to tears. He goes, your injections are more painful than his. I said, no, you remember, he's got the penis that, he goes, no, what you went through was more painful. He said, we had an offensive lineman. I don't want to give the team. Came in the previous week. He said he passed out getting shots into his shoulder. I'm like, I'd never do it again. But stem cell, it worked. It's helped me. Good days, bad days, but I do believe in that. But I had to go out of the country because this is umbilical cords that they're using the stem cell, not your own stem cells. That was the difference. And, I'm glad I did it. So, and if I ever need Ed.